Good morning, everyone. Boker Tov. This week's Torah portion talks about the transfer of leadership from Moses to Joshua. And I once heard something beautiful about leadership, that leadership is about mirrors and windows. You see a good leader, when they have a success, they look out the window and they see all the people that contributed and give credit and share the recognition with all those who helped the success be achieved. And when there's a failure, the leader looks in the mirror and takes responsibility. But a poor leader, when there is a success, they look in the mirror and say, it's all me. And when there's a failure, they look out the window and blame everyone else but themselves. In this week's Torah portion, when God tells Moses to transfer the leadership to Joshua, God tells Moshe, place Joshua in your presence before you, and place your hands upon him, and you should transfer from your radiance, from your light, upon Joshua. And Rashi points out, it doesn't say you should transfer your light, it says mehodcha, from your light. And Rashi says, what does it mean? It means only part of your light, not all of your light. And Rashi says that's what it means. The rabbis say that the face of Moses was like the face of the sun, but the face of Joshua, who succeeded him, was like the light of the moon. And just like the light of the moon is weaker than the light of the sun, Joshua only received part of Moses' light, not all of it. And the question is, why would God deliberately say only transfer part of your light? Why not give him all of your light? Why not be generous? Especially because the verse concludes, the reason you should give him part of your light is in order that the Jewish people should listen to him. If you want the Jewish people to listen to him and follow him, give him all of your light. And one of the beautiful answers is that what's the difference between the sun and the moon? When you're outside during the day, you don't see the stars. Now the stars are present in the sky all the time. So why don't you see it? Because the light of the sun is so strong that it outshines the light of the stars. And therefore the stars are not visible during the day. At night, when the weaker light of the moon emerges, now you can see the stars. And so too, there are two types of leaders. There are some leaders that are so great that they can't relate to the small lights. They can't relate to people who have diminished light because they can't understand them. They can't empathize with them. But a great leader who is like the moon is a type of leader who has tremendous light, but also the ability to see all the lights around them that are maybe smaller than their light, but still they could connect with those lights and radiate their light upon them as well, because they could understand each and every person. And therefore God says to Moshe, going into the land of Israel, we need a new type of a leader. We need a leader that's going to be in a generation where they're not going to be revealed godliness like in the desert, and therefore there are going to be more difficulties and struggles in the land, and therefore we need a leader that can relate to every person according to their level. And perhaps that's what it means. Perhaps another interpretation of a good leader is mirrors and windows. Perhaps it means as well that a good leader could look out the window, see other people, see their challenges, because they also look in the mirror and see the same struggle within themselves. They could identify with every single person. They can relate to every person precisely because they're not like the light of the sun. Because they're not as great, therefore they can understand each individual. And therefore the verse says, you know why you should only give part of your light? In order that the entire nation of Israel should listen. Not just the great members of the nation, but every single member, every single person with their own challenges and struggles should be able to go to Joshua and find the proper leadership. I remember hearing a story about this fellow who came to study in Jerusalem. He started becoming observant. He had a very colorful background, and before Yom Kippur he was taught to go to the mikveh to immerse themselves in a body of water, as is the ritual custom before Yom Kippur. But he had one problem. He had many tattoos on his body, and he was embarrassed. So when he went to the mikveh, he sees all the men in Jerusalem, rabbis with white beards, Hasidic Jews, religious Jews, and he's going to get undressed to go into the mikveh, into the body of water, to immerse himself, and everyone's going to see the tattoos all of his bodies. And some of them weren't the most beautiful tattoos. Some of them were a little vulgar. a little immodest. So what's he going to do? So he tried to cover himself up with as many towels just to get to the water and get in and get out. But as he's walking, someone bumps into him and the towel falls, and everyone's looking at him, staring at him, and he's turning red. He's so embarrassed. And suddenly an old man walks over to him and says, "Don't feel bad. I also have a tattoo." And he rolled up his sleeve and he showed him his tattoo from his number from the concentration camp. And he said to this Jew, this young man, "I've been through my hell, you've been through yours. But tonight is Yom Kippur. It's the day of cleansing. Don't feel bad. Let us start the new year on Yom Kippur together." That's what it means to be able to understand, relate, communicate, address, be able to guide every single person. Even if you come from a different world than them, you have a whole different set of challenges. You find the mirror to find that challenge within yourself and connect with each and every human being. That was the type of leadership that God told Moses to transfer to Joshua. Have a wonderful day.